fall back. When my mind goes, I go psycho.
On January 15th of 2019, I was at the lowest weight I had been at in years. I was 19, stood at 6 feet 4 inches tall, and weighed a whopping 146.8 pounds. Saying I was underweight would be kind of like saying that Arnold Schwarzenegger is just kinda big. Obviously, it's a massive understatement. For those of you who have followed me for a while now, you probably actually remember how tiny I was all the way back in January, because that was when I got my first truly successful video. But the thing that really sucked was that I was in the worst shape of my life, feeling terrible every day. I looked terrible, felt terrible, just nothing really felt like it was going right, and genuinely thought it was going to be like that forever. Today though, roughly a year and a half later, and now 183 pounds, I can proudly say I was wrong.
Yeah, had to make a wish real quick. Yeah, wonder if they live like this. Hear my life go tick, tick, tick. Tryna give a couple Christmas gifts. Now I'm hanging on a rope all covered in gold. I know you can never drip like this. Yeah, whipping in Tokyo, feeling like life on a drift, drift, drift. Wonder if they live like this. Feeling like a hypocrite. Nobody gotta know. I think I'm all alone. Press 4 on a shift, shift, shift. Tryna tell you that I live like this. Something I want home, and I think I'm all alone. Yeah, triple covered in gold, feeling like they want my soul. Yeah, tryna handle this shit, feeling like I'm not control. Yeah, not control, feeling like they want me home. I think I'm all alone. I think I'm all alone.
So today I kind of want to get into a little bit of the things that I ended up doing to be able to get to the size that I'm at now in such a short period of time, as well as provide a few tips that I think would be useful that I wish that I had known going into trying to get bigger. I would like to make it clear though that the information in this video is not meant to be a replacement for medical advice, and if you are trying to make significant changes to your health, you should absolutely go and talk to a registered or practicing physician to go and get real medical advice if that's what you are trying to do. And also, just as a disclaimer, most of the stuff that I will be providing in this video will be based off of my personal experience of going from being super skinny to now being in pretty good shape after gaining 25 pounds of muscle from bulking in just around a year. So just a reminder that most of these points will be from that perspective. Point number 1. Calories in, calories out will probably be the most important thing for you to know about whatsoever when it comes to just trying to get into getting bigger. The idea of it, put plain and simple, is that if you eat more calories in a day than you burn, then you will gain weight. But if you burn more calories in a day than you eat, then you will lose weight. And obviously, whether you're gaining fat or muscle from all of that weight that you are putting on from a higher caloric intake will be based entirely off of the foods that you are putting into your body. So if you are eating foods that are very high in fat and not really as much in protein, then you are going to gain way more fat than you are muscle. So looking for foods that are protein rich and lower in fat is a much better choice for you to try and do, because if you just take in calories from everything, kind of like what a dirty bulk is, which is basically what I did, you will end up in a situation where you're gaining almost like an unnecessary amount of fat along with the food that you're eating to build muscle. A very important factor of all of this too is when it comes to the calories that you're intaking, you need to know how many calories do you need to take in. And for that, if you are coming into it with absolutely no knowledge of what your base level calorie intake is or what your calorie intake should be to gain weight, then I would say in that case, it is fine for you to go on and use like a calorie calculator. I tested one out that was called Calculator Net and put all of my information into it, like how many times a week I exercise, and if it's heavy exercise, I put my height, weight, age, everything, and body fat percentage. And the number that it ended up giving me back for how many calories I needed to intake a day to gain weight was actually pretty accurate, considering I already knew that I needed to be eating around 4,000 calories a day to be able to gain some pretty decent size. And obviously, calorie intake changes based off of the size that you are currently currently at. So, you know, I haven't just always been eating 4,000 calories. So if you're kind of going into things and you increase your calorie intake and you're seeing some, you know, like decent gains over time, then you're doing things well. If you're not seeing any gains, or maybe you're losing weight, then try increasing it even more. So if you are beginning to work out and, you know, going into eating more calories, make sure you are actually adjusting for how many extra calories you may be losing while doing your workouts. And just a quick tip as well when it comes to how much protein you need, because obviously the big discussion often revolves around protein when it comes to trying to build muscle, because that's like the key factor to doing so, then I would say it would probably be safe to go around 0.75 grams of protein for every pound of body weight that you have. So the easy equation to be able to figure out then how much protein you should be eating to gain significant size is you should be going and taking whatever your current body weight is and multiplying that by 0.75, and that will give you how many grams of protein that you should be taking in per day. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is that the first thing most people try and go for to pick up as a supplement when they're trying to gain size is protein powder. The problem with that is if you are starting like I did, where you are very skinny and then trying to just have protein powder, well, protein powder, yeah, sure, it's a good protein supplement, but it has next to no calories that are useful. And what I mean by that is that you can get like the same amount of calories out of protein powder as you can from a glass of orange juice. So obviously you're not going to be able to gain significant size if all you're adding to your diet is like, oh, an extra scoop of protein powder like into the mix of the foods you're eating. Yeah, you'll increase your protein intake, but your calories don't change at all. So what I recommend for what worked for me for trying to gain size is a mass gainer. And you may be thinking, what is a mass gainer? Essentially what mass gainer is a supplement that contains high amounts of calories, high protein, high carbs, and almost always has all of your necessary branched chain amino acids in it. And I would definitely attribute a lot of the size that I gained so quickly to the fact that I was using mass gainer. The great thing about mass gainer as well is that just like protein powders, there are so many of them that you will be able to find a decently priced one that fits within whatever your budget range is from almost anything. The number 3 thing I want to talk about now is that you will gain fat. It literally is impossible if you were to go from the size that I was of being super skinny to then being really fit. You cannot do that without gaining fat. The reason why I'm using this as a point is because it was such a jarring thing myself, like mentally, to have to get over it, that I'm seeing myself essentially gaining fat, and in my head I was like, oh, I'm not, you know, healthy anymore, blah blah blah, when in reality I was still at a healthy level of body fat percentage and was athlete level, because I went from about 8% body fat to about 11.5% body fat, which is still pretty fantastic. You're gonna see that there is gonna be an increase in fat. Now, you don't necessarily have to gain as much fat as I did. I was an idiot when I started this whole thing because I just decided to drink an insane amount of chocolate milk, as well as putting cheeses on everything. And for those of you who don't know, those dairy products are so high in fat content, so those aren't in my diet anymore. I don't eat those things or drink those things. So now it's a little bit better, and I am seeing improvements in that way. So don't be like me and, you know, just go crazy on high fat foods, because you will see that. But I just want to use that as an example of like, this does happen. You will gain fat. Number 4 that I want to blaze through super quickly, ironically enough, is cardio. Do not skip cardio, because if you do, I know it's so simple to just completely forget about cardio when you're in those stages of, you know, early weightlifting. You just want to lift heavy weights. You don't care about the treadmill. You don't care about going for bike rides or anything anymore. You just want to get big. But the problem is that you will see a significant decline in how long and hard you are able to go and lift those weights for. Or if you try and go back to running or biking after not doing cardio for a very long time, you will see just how big of a mistake that was. Just like I did, I went from at the very beginning, before I started doing heavy weightlifting, I was able to do like a 6 to 7 minute mile. And then when I tried doing it like 8 months after not having done almost any cardio activities whatsoever, I don't even know how long it was. It was like 15-minute mile or something insane like that. Stick to cardio. Include it in your workout somewhere. There's a lot of ways that you can be able to do it, so please include cardio in your workouts. And the fifth and final thing that I want to talk to you guys about, which may seem kind of anticlimactic, but it is definitely not, is please be careful when it comes to weightlifting and doing any other exercises. Make sure you are not trying to ego lift and lift way out of your comfort zone, whether it's because you're at the gym and you think people are looking at you, which by the way, nobody's looking at you at the gym. They're focused on their own gains. If you mess up your form, or if you lift too heavy, or you do both at the same time, you can cause permanent injuries that will stay with you for the rest of your life. But I think that's gonna have to do it for this video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this really different style of content that I decided to make, because I had so many comments from previous videos of people commenting on how big I got that I just decided I gotta make a video like this because it just feels like necessary at this point. So if you guys did find this interesting and you would be interested in, having another video like this, whether it be like a full day of eating of, specifically, okay, what did I eat to be able to get to the size I'm at? Or if you wanted to see a full week of workouts, obviously I wouldn't show a full week of working out, but I mean, I would show you guys my plan, schedule, anything like that. If you want to see stuff like that, just let me know, because I'd be totally up for having every once in a while where I make a different style of content just to mix things up a little bit. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy, and thank you so much for watching. Of course, thank you to all of my patrons this month. You guys are awesome. And a special shout out to all of the $10 and up patrons this month. Those being Farski, Midwestfunky, Helen, Karma, Chad Sunshine, Ryan Meth, and Keyohh. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I appreciate your support so much. It means so much to me. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, it should be art over algorithm. Goodbye.
I've come a long way, like a traveler in the night. I was working in the dark and now everything's bright. Always told that I was wrong, now I'm feeling pretty right. Pushing open closed curtains, now there's people in my life. They told me I wouldn't be shit, I'll prove them wrong. I'll never have seen them again. I hope that they hear